Hi, I'm Modi Abate. This is Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
Greetings from Daytona, where a band of dreamers took a strip of beach and turned it into a proving ground. The Great American Race, where year after year, greatness is the destination. So book your experience and soak in 500 miles of history and tradition. Once you arrive, you'll never look back. Secure your seats now at Daytona500.com.
Roll Tide and welcome to this Thursday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover. Great to welcome you to our studio in Tuscaloosa, and just one show this week. It is Alabama's Open Day coming up, so we wanted to be along with you on this Thursday to mostly talk about basketball and really preview the season that starts for Alabama men's and women's basketball coming up on Monday. We will take a look back to the Missouri game as well, plus have some football commentary as well from Corey Reamer. We'll go through everything coming up on the show, plus our headlines, thanks to our friends RJ Young. RJ Young is the official technology solutions provider of Crimson Drive. They've given us a smart board to go through everything in a very interactive way. As I mentioned, we'll take a look back to the 34-0 Missouri victory with our booth cam highlights. The booth cam always streaming live thanks to our friends at Yay Alabama. So we'll take a look at all the great plays from the Missouri game. And then we will head to Mountain Brook, Alabama for SEC men's and women's basketball media day. A couple weeks ago, the SEC on back-to-back days held media days at the Grand Bohemian Hotel. And we were able to grab interviews with Crimson Tide coaches and players. Nate Oates, Christy Curry, some players. Richard Hendricks is our Media Days correspondent. He joined us as well in Mountain Brook for a really fun event at SEC Media Days, learning more about Alabama basketball. Then we'll round out the show by hearing from former Alabama linebacker Corey Reamer with the best of Crimson Tide Rewind from this past Monday at Baumhower's in Vestavia Hills. We'll finish the show with Be Kind, Crimson Tide Rewind. Looking at the Crimson Tide football team, a great 34-0 win against Missouri, as you'll see shortly, and our booth cam highlights are really here. Damian Square was really happy we maintained that goose egg and got the shutout, Alabama's second of the year, plus the first one in SEC play since 2020. This week, Crimson Tide with the open date. Now we have learned the LSU kickoff from Tiger Stadium will be 6:30 under the lights in Baton Rouge. That means our radio coverage will start at 3:30 all across the network. How about the men's basketball team and Nate Oates, preseason #2 team in the country? Looked strong on Monday, picked up a win against Memphis. 96-88 was the final score of the charity exhibition game at the Von Braun Center. Mark Sears, playing close to home to his home in Muscle Shoals, picked up 20 points to lead Alabama in scoring. Now next up for the Crimson Tide will be the home opener and the season opener coming up on Monday night, November 4th against UNC Asheville. Tip-off at 8 p.m. and our coverage will start at 7 all across the network. Women's basketball, you can say the same in terms of opening night. Of course, last night Alabama did hold a charity, or just an exhibition matchup against Division II Columbus State. Alabama in great shape entering this season, ranked number 24 in the AP preseason poll. First time we've seen that since the late 90s. Congratulations to Sarah Ashley Barker, one of the players you'll hear from Media Days coming up in a moment. She has been named to the Naismith Trophy Award watch list entering the season. And I mentioned November 4th for the women's team, as they will start the year against New Orleans at 5 o'clock in that men's and women's basketball doubleheader coming up at Coleman. And then last but not least, don't forget about Vector Security Champions Lane. We will have the concert series continuing into the month of November. Our good friends Smith Distillery, we saw them hanging out with Easton Corbin this past week for the Missouri game. They'll be back for the Mercer game coming up on November 16th. And then Jake Matthew will be our final performer of the year on November 30th. Vector Security Champions Lane, head to championslane.com for more details. Champions Lane was popping the other day, getting ready for Alabama against Missouri, and what a ball game we saw. Alabama looked great on both sides of the ball in that 34-0 win. Let's take a look at our booth cam highlights, the Yay Alabama booth cam, streaming live for all CTSN broadcast. Let's take a look at all the great moments from Saturday's shutout against Mizzou.
The kickoff will head towards the left side, and it will sail over the head of Johnson. Weiss comes in motion near side. Delay give and a pitch back to the quarterback, and he will go down. A loss of 9 on the play as Bama read the flea flicker and stepped on it in a hurry. Jahad Campbell recording the first sack of the game for the Bama D. Off on the reverse comes to Kendrick Law. Kendrick coming to the left edge, gets first down, gets more. Down the left sideline before he shoved out of bounds inside the 30-yard line.
Tyler Booker just took a defensive back and drove him 3 yards onto Missouri's sideline. Complete opposite side of where the play developed. So if you didn't believe his words during the course of the week, he is proving it here early on.
Which will be from 46 yards from the hold of Burnham. The snap upcoming from Nealon Hibbett. As the snap and spot are good, the kick is up. It has enough leg, and the kick is indeed good. D-square. Huge to see 2 3-and-outs for the Bama defense.
Yeah, that was big time, man. They're applying consistent pressure on the quarterback. I knew Missouri would come out and try to be stubborn with the run. They took care of that on the first 2 downs, and they got off the field on 3rd down.
Hold the pocket right, dump it off to the tight end, and he is stood up and leveled. Great play by Jahad Campbell, the Mike linebacker, active early as Jordan Harris was introduced to the turf.
Number 11, Jahad Campbell, is really out here playing with a sense of urgency, and I think it's rubbing off on everybody, man.
Handoff goes to Haynes, breaks a tackle, fights forward, gets 8 on 1st down, and the Crimson Tide will have a 2nd and short upcoming.
Expecting more of that out of Justice Haynes, being able to break tackles at the line of scrimmage and advance it close to the 1st down marker.
And Graham Nicholson getting a good snap, a good spot, a kick that has a lot of leg in it, and it is true, and the Tide has a 6-0 lead.
Hopefully this defense, you know, with the time of possession that the offense put up, can come out here well rested and make a few plays, hopefully create a turnover and put it in the end zone, man.
This is 3rd and 6 from just across their 40-yard line. Pistol formation again for Pine, the quarterback. Getting the snap, looking, firing downfield. That's going to be picked off. Malachi Moore, 40, 45, cuts back left side, gets into Mizzou territory. Going down the sideline, 40, and knocked out of bounds around the 38-yard line. 1st down, Alabama. Malachi Moore, the pick out of Hewitt-Trussville High School. That is his 2nd interception in as many weeks.
Well, Pine was trying to find Burden on the seam route. He actually had a step or 2 on our cornerback, but the ball was thrown 6 or 7 yards inside of him, right into the arms of Malachi Moore.
Williams, Henderson, and Bernard. Milroe gets the snap. Free play for Bama. Downfield's got a man. Catch is made. Emmanuel Henderson Jr. makes the grab inside the 5. 1st down, Alabama. Deep inside the Chick-fil-A red zone.
Now Alabama moving the ball off that big interception from Malachi Moore. Have to punch it in right here from the 3-yard line.
Jam Miller is the running back. They'll bring Law in motion left side. The handoff up to Miller, and he will walk into the end zone for an Alabama touchdown. C.J. Dupree running interference.
Boy, Tyler Booker, he must have about 5 or 6 pancake blocks already in this football game.
Pancakes and jam, a good combination. A little different, but still a good one. Milroe stepping up in the pocket, breaks a tackle. Now he wants to run. Gets across the 40, across midfield, into the open field, coming to the near boundary, gets to the 40, gets a block, stops, gets out of bounds, and Alabama will have 1st and 10. Again, Jam Miller in the backfield next to Milroe. From the pistol, play action. He'll keep it himself. He runs right into the back of a blocker, changes direction, gets to the 5, gets to the pylon, got in, touchdown, Alabama. What an improvisation there by Jalen Milroe.
Boy, Missouri took away what he wanted to do, which was go around the left side of the line of scrimmage. So he did reverse course, as you talked about. And Jam Miller is the one who played interference. He threw a key block or 2 to allow Milroe to get to the edge and inside the pylon.
D-square, were you on the goal line? Could you tell?
Hey, man, I had the best seat in the house. This is a touchdown, baby.
I'm trusting you.
Touchdown.
It is bang, bang, though. His right foot did come down out of bounds.
Hey, they called it a touchdown.
As the ball.
Damien just said the man's mama named him Clay. I'm going to call him Clay. I think that's the route that he went there.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby. Pine looking for Burden down the left side. It's going to be picked off. Bray Hubbard with the interception, and the Tide turns away the Tigers again. 2nd and 7. They'll go play action, rolling the pocket right. They'll fire, and it is picked off. Interception, Alabama. The Crimson Tide getting its 3rd pick of the day. Quay Rousseau, I believe, is the man who made the interception for the Crimson Tide. It's at 3 as he gets the snap. He'll hand it off. Miller trying to break a tackle, does. 10-5, 4-3, dives for the pylon. Touchdown, Alabama. Jam Miller, yards and airborne for the final 3 as the Crimson Tide stretches it out to a 26-0 lead.
And this is when it's fun as an offensive unit. I mean, in essence, it's turned into a 9-on-7 drill. They know you're running it. You know you're running it. Who's tougher?
Everybody bunched tight left side, one wide right. Straight handoff. And Justice lowers his head, runs over a man. Inside the 20, 15, 10-5. Touchdown, Alabama. Woo, man, Justice came down hard on the Missouri defense there, running over a man and then running past the rest. 35 yards for the Alabama touchdown. Trevez Johnson asking for a change of venue after that tough sentence handed down by Justice. Woo, Lord, did he get popped. The Tide rolling to a 34-0 lead with just over 11 minutes to go.
Hey, man, the old heads are on the sideline pumping these guys up. Like I said earlier, man, when you get these young guys on the field, man, sometimes the guys that play all the time get really excited, man. So hopefully they can bring some new energy to the sideline and we can continue to keep this goose egg on the scoreboard.
Looking at the rushing yards of this from Missouri, just over 90 yards. Bama 198 on the day. Really good to see. 413 yards of total offense for Bama. In Missouri at the moment, around 165. The Tigers are going to go for it. Bama is bringing in the beef. Here comes Jamarian Latham, Tim Keenan, Tim Smith. The starters are in for the Tide defense on the goal line. And again, the big gentleman up front.
This is important to these older guys to make sure we lead this game with a goose egg, man. So, hey, one play. Let's see what happens.
Tigers get to the line of scrimmage. Pistol formation. Pine hands it off. They run left side. They don't get in. They didn't get in. Bama's defense stops them. We've had bigger, more memorable, more important goal line stands. But for this Alabama Crimson Tide team, oh, Damian Square, this one was indeed huge.
Hey, that's what we play for, man. That goose egg is very important to this football team, man. That's something you can build off of going into next week, man. We're taking down Tigers.
He's going to hit somebody. It's going to happen at some point. Oh, Damian Square from the heart on that one, baby. He was able to bring in the snap, the handoff to Young. Makes a man miss. 20, 25, 30, 40, midfield, 45, 40, and down at the 37-yard line of Missouri. Richard Young, the best carry of his young career, 61 yards. Final 35 seconds of the clock will tick off as Eli Drinkwitz and Kalen DeMoore will both jog from their respective sidelines, meet at midfield, and the Tide will roll to now 6-2 on the year. And quite a round of applause from the home crowd here in Tuscaloosa on homecoming, as the alums and everybody else that bleeds crimson is happy about this one. And oh yes, indeed, let's play that song.
Experience racing like never before. From the sandy beaches of Daytona to the high banks of one of the most exciting super speedways on the NASCAR circuit. Don't miss out as NASCAR kicks off the 2025 season with the Daytona 500 on February 16th, 2025. Witness history in the making and purchase your tickets today at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com. Well, coming up, it is the start of basketball season. Alabama men's and women's basketball were busy a few weeks ago in Mountain Brook, Alabama at the Grand Bohemian Hotel for SEC Basketball Media Days. You know, the football media days are spread out over 4 days with 4 teams at a time. It's not like that for basketball. You have one day for the men, that was Tuesday, and then you have a women's day on Wednesday in the week that was leading up to the Tennessee football game. So a few weeks ago, we had the chance to be in Mountain Brook for the event, had interviews first on Tuesday with Alabama men's basketball, conversation coming up with Nate Oates as well as Latrell Reitzel Jr. as well as Mark Sears. We appreciate the time as always of Richard Hendricks, who of course is an SEC Network basketball analyst. He joins us about once a month on this show, Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, as our basketball analyst in terms of Crimson Drive, and also just giving us his thoughts on Alabama men's and women's hoops. And he joins us as well for men's basketball media days from Mountain Brook. Welcome to Mountain Brook and SEC Basketball Media Days. Roger Hoover now pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Nate Oates, and Coach Roll Tide mid-October. How you feeling about your basketball team?
You know what? I feel good if we can get healthy. We're a little banged up right now, but good thing is we got 2.5 weeks till we play a game, so we've got some depth though to deal with it. But I think the guys are in a good frame of mind. We had a good practice this morning. I think we're getting better every time we get on the practice floor, and excited to play somebody else finally on Friday night up here in Birmingham.
I know you're thinking about the future in the next few weeks, but going back to last Friday with the banner raising, the three-point contest, dunk contest, and then the scrimmage, how meaningful was that to celebrate last year but also look forward to this year?
It was super cool. I mean, first time you dropped a Final Four banner in Coleman, so that was great. You know, we got a lot of people excited about basketball early in the season. And then, you know, I kind of told the guys it's great to recognize great accomplishment last year, but let's turn the page and play the scrimmage in front of everybody. And thought our guys played well. They played hard. So looking forward to playing somebody else, though, on Friday, like I said.
Preseason pick to be the player of the year in the SEC is Mark Sears. Where have you seen steps forward in his game over the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, he's playing harder on defense. I think he's trying to lead more. You know, he's doing a really good job making reads when he gets to the rim. But I think the biggest jump is just effort on the defensive end every possession. I think he's put together back-to-back days in practice of great effort on the defensive end, and just trying to string together a bunch of great practice days to develop great habits to play great defense and play with max effort in the games.
What about Latrell Reitzel Jr.? Where have you seen steps forward for him?
Yeah, I mean, he's banged up right now. He's a little hurt, but he's same deal with him. You know, comfortable in the offense after being here a year, more of a leader, able to talk to the younger guys, explain stuff to them. And even when he's out, he's doing a good job kind of leading the younger guys.
And then speaking of the younger guys, who's really stepping up? Who's impressed you so far?
Yeah, LeBaron Philon's been really good. I mean, he's been the one healthiest, you know, so far. Like, Nas Cunningham was out today a little bit. He's been out here and there. Aiden Sherrell's out for another few weeks. You know, Darian Reed's going to be really good, as, you know, they all are going to be good, but Darian's been great when he's been healthy. He's just getting back. He had surgery on his hand. So if we could get, you know, everybody healthy, I think Aiden's going to play great for us. Darian does a little bit of everything really well. You know, he's super smart, high IQ, but LeBaron's been the one that's been healthy in every practice, and just he's been better than what we thought he was going to be, just because he plays so hard on the defensive end.
Now, what do you like about this schedule, specifically in the first few weeks getting ready for the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's typical schedule of what we like to put together. Like, you know, we're going to play two good teams in exhibition games, you know, Wake Forest and Memphis, kind of get us ready for a tough non-conference schedule. You know, we've got 3 really good bye games. I mean, two of our first 3 bye games, the teams are picked to win their league, and you know, and then we play 7 straight I-major teams. So we're right there. We'll have them ready to go, but it's going to be a tough non-conference schedule for us again.
We look forward to it. Coach, thank you for joining us. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Appreciate it, Roger.
We're here in Birmingham, Alabama at 2024 SEC Media Days alongside Latrell Reitzel. Latrell, what's the experience been on your first SEC Media Day?
It's been fun. I'm grateful to be here, ready to get the season started. Yeah, it's a lot of excitement in the building, and yeah, I'm just ready to get to rolling.
High expectations for this year's team coming off a Final Four appearance. You've ranked number 1 on the preseason poll in the SEC and number 2 in the AP voting. What does all of this mean to you?
It's cool to see. We're not really big into that. We're just into winning games and, you know, just succeeding and doing what we came to do, and that's just to win 4 championships this season, which are the Players Era, the regular season for the SEC, the championship, SEC tournament, and then the national championship. So, yeah, we don't want to get too high. We don't want to get too low. We just want to stay even keel and, yeah, obviously just do what we came to do.
Second year in the program now, you're going to take a bigger leadership role. What's been the thing you worked on in the offseason and try to get the new players on board to what y'all are trying to build here at Alabama?
What I worked on the offseason is just being a point guard, playing on the ball, and then also for our new guys and the stuff we learned, we've been just learning how to play better defense. Our defense wasn't up to par last year. We want to be one of the top 5 defenses in the country, if not number 1. And so, yeah, that's what we came to do, and that's a real big emphasis that not just myself and not just the returners have, but our coaches too.
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations, and enjoy the rest of SEC Media Days. For Latrell Wright, so I'm Richard Hendricks with the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Birmingham, Alabama's for SEC Media Days alongside Mark Sears. Mark, what's been the experience like here at SEC Media Days?
You can feel the excitement and feel like the season's right around the corner.
Well, it's your second year at SEC Media Days. High expectations for you and the team. What has the offseason been like to try to prepare for all of the high expectations?
We've been grounded, and we've been hungry. We've been making each other better, and iron sharpens iron.
You're coming off a magnificent season like you had, and not getting necessarily the accolades in the season, and also moving into the NBA draft. What has it been like to now prepare yourself for a season? There's a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, would you say?
Most definitely. Something that I have something to prove, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be, and I feel like bringing home that national championship will help a lot.
When you look at the expectations of this team, when you see all of the players that you have, do you definitely feel that the number 2 overall ranking that they have in the preseason is something you feel like is justified? And do you hope that this team can maybe achieve that moving towards the end of the season?
Yeah, we definitely have the roster to achieve, and we just have to have the everyday mindset of willing to getting better and willing to take constructive criticism.
Well, thank you so much, and roll Tide.
Hey, it's Zay Green. You're watching Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
Greetings from Daytona, where year after year, greatness is the destination. So book your experience and soak in 500 miles of history and tradition. Secure your seats now at Daytona500.com.
Well, the men's team went on Tuesday. The women's team made their appearance at SEC Media Days on Wednesday. Christy Curry was joined by Sarah Ashley Barker as well as Aaliyah Nye. Some fun conversations about what looks to be a really strong team heading into the season. Here's our women's basketball content from Media Days. Roger Hoover, now pleased to be joined by Sarah Ashley Barker from the Alabama women's basketball team at SEC Media Days in Mountain Brook. And SA, first of all, roll Tide. How's the offseason been?
Roll Tide. It's been a lot of fun. Just practicing, been here since the summer, and just getting to know each other. So, yeah.
What have you liked about the work this team has put in, especially the last few weeks of fall practice?
Right. I think that when you start the fall practice, you're trying to learn some things, but I think also the summer, that's what it kind of prepares you. You do drills, you have time where you can get on the court and do team practice stuff. I think the good thing about us was every single one of us wanted to get in extra on our own. And when you can get in extra on your own, that means that you can do more practice stuff because you're not just having to do more of the skill development because everyone's doing that. So I feel like we were kind of ahead this year and just being able to put in plays earlier than we usually would just because people were getting in on their own, on their time, and really doing their skill development and that kind of stuff as an optional type thing just because with the hours in the summer you only work with so much. But I think that at the beginning you just work with what you have and you're just trying to get better every single day.
How similar is this team to what we saw a year ago, and where are some ways it maybe is a little bit different?
Yeah, I think it's similar when it comes to, we're trying to play fast. We're shooting the three, we're getting to the rim. That's always been our motto on offense is you're going to, the three and layups, and then you want to try to get to the free throw line, more than the other team attempts. But then I think the difference in this year is just the defensive presence that we're trying to bring. I think defensively they've really been harping on, being in the gaps, being more aggressive, and being an Alabama defensive grit team. Not saying that last year we weren't that good defensively, but I think that this year we're really, trying to make the presence of defense be known and be who Alabama is, not just Alabama that can shoot the three.
What has it meant to get this program back to the second round of the NCAA tournament, finished fourth in the league last year, already ranked going into this season? What does it mean to have those milestones?
Right, it means everything. But then again, you're so grateful and just for the people that came before you and the people that laid the foundation of who Christy brought in from 3 years ago, 4 years ago, just the ones that have made a way for us. And then you're also grateful that we're in this position, in this spotlight, that we're able to keep carrying it on and making this program so much better and more than and back to the old days when they were getting to the Sweet 16s, Final Fours, all that kind of stuff. But it's just Christy. I mean, she's done a great job with recruiting us, getting the right people in our program, and pushing us to be, better people, better players, but just most importantly, like off the court, she wants us to be the best person that we can be.
Can you believe it's year 3, getting to wear this uniform? How fast has it gone, and what does this year mean to you?
Right. This year means everything. I think that being able to have a 5th year and play at the University of Alabama for a 3rd year and in my home state, 45 minutes away, I think it's just a lot of gratitude. I'm very thankful that the Lord brought me here and that the Lord has me exactly where he needs me and wants me. And so that's all that I can ask for. And, at the end of the day, I just want to be able to make the front of my jersey proud. It doesn't really matter about the back of the jersey.
Sarah Ashley, thank you for joining us. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Welcome back to Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Roger Hoover. Now pleased to be joined by Alabama's Aaliyah Nye here at SEC Media Days in Mountain Brook. And first of all, what does it mean to you to represent Alabama on a stage like this?
I'm just grateful for the opportunity. Coach Christie asked me to be here, and I'm just grateful to be here representing the university.
We're certainly excited for what's in store this year. Tell us about the offseason for you. How have you improved your game over the last time we saw you?
Just continuing, obviously working on my three and then expanding my game. I've been trying to get better at my ball handling skills, defensive skills, and just all around improve my game and help my team this year in every aspect.
How important do you feel like the defensive style of play that you had last year impacted Alabama?
I think just defensively is something that we're trying to work on this year. So continuing my defensive skills and then bringing it along to the newcomers, I think something that we really want to focus on this year is our defensive intensity and being a defensive-minded team.
What have you liked about the newcomers so far?
Their energy. I feel like we're all different. We all love each other. I think over the summer we've gotten to know each other really well. And I just can't wait to play with this group of people.
Have you enjoyed being a leader and one of the upperclassmen on this team?
Yes, it's fun being a leader and just coaching and just seeing everyone build and just grow together and learn the plays and learn how we run the offense and things like that. I love helping everyone in that aspect, so it's fun.
What do you feel like this team's capable of this season?
We're capable of a lot. I feel like this is the best team I've been a part talent-wise, and I think that just coming into this season, we just want to take one game at a time and just chip away and just win. We have a great opportunity to do a lot of great things this year.
We're excited to see it. Aaliyah Nye, thank you for joining us. Roll Tide.
Thanks for having me.
Roger Hoover now joined by the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Christy Curry, and Coach Roll Tide. Basketball season just around the corner. How exciting is this time for you and your program?
It's exciting. I mean, we got some cool weather today, so it feels like the ball should be bouncing. It's exciting for our program right now, and we're just trying to get better with each day. It's been fun to have 20-hour-a-week practices, so I'm excited for what's ahead.
Certainly excited. Tell us about the roster. We do have some familiar faces coming back, but also some newcomers. Just what was important trying to build this roster for this year?
Well, I think first and foremost, we recruit our roster from a year ago that could come back, and we have 8 amazing returnees. They're so committed to what we're doing, have much improved, each and every one of them in their own way, but we've added 6 new faces. And, I understand how important the portal is, but I think any time that you build a program and you stay consistent, it starts with freshmen. And we're so excited about our 3 freshmen, Eris Lester, Chloe Spreen, and Leah Brooks. All 3 bring such a high level of experience in winning. But we had 3 really important, amazing young women from the portal that bring a lot of experience. So I think we've blended the old with the new, and we're excited about the potential this team has. I think it has a lot of depth and versatility that maybe in the past we haven't had.
And then also a change in your coaching staff, bringing in Pauline Love, who we've seen before in the league at Arkansas. Just what has she brought to this program?
A tremendous energy, tremendous passion. I mean, she played the game at a high level. She played overseas. I think her addition has just been a fresh, new, I'm telling you what, the energy she brings is incredible. And so it's been contagious with our team, our staff. And, we have so many great pieces on our staff. Tennille Adams having played in the SEC, Kelly and his experience. Those 3 really bring a lot, and they complement one another, and we're so excited about what the future holds with our staff.
I know you're focused on the future, but there is a milestone. Alabama ranked in the top 25 going into the season. Just does that help you kind of look back and reflect at how many steps forward this program's taken seeing something like that?
I think we're just trying to be the best version of ourselves today, and I think at the end of the day, maybe one day, I'll step back and go, wow, where we were and where we're at, it's completely 2 different places, but we're certainly not satisfied. So to be ranked in the AP poll for the first time since '99, I think shows the progression of the program and the respect from a national perspective, but we know that gives us nothing. So it's important to finish the season. I think it's exciting. We're one of 2 men's and women's programs in the AP poll, so it's exciting for Alabama basketball. We need our fan base to get behind this team because they've earned it.
They certainly have. And for you, the Crimson Tide will get going with that doubleheader with the men's team on November 4th. What do you like about the non-conference schedule? How will it get you ready for SEC play?
Well, we feel like we've done a really good job of being on some neutral floors against some really great opponents. We're going on the road into a couple of really tough environments. You know, when you go to Monroe, Louisiana, I've had people go, "Why'd you do that?" And then, you know, you go up to Alabama A&M, which was, you know, a great in-state decision. We have so much respect for Don, who actually won on an SEC home floor a year ago. And so we're going into some tough road environments. I think we're the doubleheader up at Alabama A&M. That's going to be tough. And so the road environments, the home environment, the combination of teams, you know, the portal parity that's created from a mid-major perspective now, really you've got some great opponents there in the preseason, so it should really challenge us.
Should really challenge you, and the SEC continues getting harder and harder with the addition of Texas and Oklahoma. We get to go there this year, obviously ended last year at Texas. What does it mean to have an expanded SEC now with those programs joining?
Well, as a competitor, you know, as a coach or a player, you want to compete against the best night in and night out. And it says, you know, we always say it just means more in the SEC. Well, it just means a whole lot more now because we just got a whole lot better. I think I have so much respect for those two programs. They're tradition rich. They've been there for a long time on the national scene. You know, what Jenny and Vic have done to carry on the tradition of Coach Conrad and Sherry Cole. I spent 7 years in the Big 12, so I have so much respect, and I'm excited. I think it's going to challenge us to be better. It's going to challenge our league to be better, and like it says, it means more. We just got a whole lot. It just means a whole lot more now.
We'll finish up with this. Today at SEC Media Days, you bring Sarah Ashley Barker as well as Aaliyah Nye. Just what kind of leaders, what kind of representatives of this program are they?
Yeah, I don't have the words. You know, I think at the end of the day, I'm so blessed to be their coach. What they have done and meant to our program as leaders, as people, the character, both will leave Alabama with 2 degrees. Aaliyah with her MBA, SA with her master's, and they've continued to elevate our program on the court, on and off the court. They're tremendous leaders. They're fearless. They're competitors, and believe me, I can't put into words how much they mean to our program and how they represent our program is incredibly special.
Same goes for you with the Crimson Tide. Christy Curry, just thank you for all the time you've given us. Enjoy Media Day. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Don't miss out on your chance to experience the energy and the excitement of the Great American Race. Witness history in the making and purchase your tickets today for the 2025 Daytona 500 at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com. Look forward to basketball starting. A lot of excitement for what's coming up on Monday inside Coleman Coliseum. We are looking forward to that men's and women's basketball doubleheader. Still looking forward to football as well. We have a chance to look back each and every Monday night with Crimson Tide Rewind presented by the Alabama Department of Public Health. Corey Reamer and I break down the previous game and then take a look at what else is going on around the SEC and college football. Here's a look at what you may have missed from this past Monday night. The full show is available, of course, on the Alabama Insider podcast as well as our YouTube page. But here's a sample of everything from 2 nights ago. Here is Be Kind, Crimson Tide Rewind. Corey, we get to talk about not just a win, but a shutout.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good. First one, not the first one, but one we hadn't seen in a while. It's welcome to see that coming off of the last 3 weeks that we've had. It's been tough, especially from the defensive side, and but it was a good game. It started off a little bit slow on the offensive side, but finished strong and getting the starters back in right there at the end of the ball game to ensure that shutout. It was I'm sure that was exciting for all those defensive guys. You know, it's just sometimes even though it didn't mean anything in terms of the final score of the game, but for a defense to give the effort, to practice, and to be able to see that zero, that goose egg, it's always a goal. Whenever we had all the goals after each game, we always came in and evaluated how we did. One of them was always like, let's see if we can pitch shutouts. And I remember in 2009 we had a number of them, and it's something that you strive for. And there's always going to be points that get put up, but if your goal is to have zero under their name, that's usually you're going to win a lot of ball games that way. So good for this defense to get out there and played really well, I thought, especially with some key guys that were out there that were not out there, especially with Keon Sabb being hurt. But I felt like it's the guys that were stepping in and playing in those roles did a really phenomenal job. And it seems like we played extremely physical defense, and it was fun to watch. You know, it's been so far this season, it seems like we've been taking the hits, and it seemed like on both sides of the ball, that we were really the ones that were throwing the punches, and it was a fun game for us to watch. You know, Missouri was a team that's been a little bit beaten up, but we took advantage of it and played like we were supposed to and won that ball game handily.
Really was a lot of fun, and of course we always have the Yay Alabama booth cam streaming live, and we always have the highlights come out on Sunday or Monday at UA_CTSN, and really the top highlight is Damian Square. You can't even see him because it is the booth cam. He's down in the field, of course, but he was so excited after seeing the starters come back in, getting that goal line stand to make sure it's a shutout. Like you mentioned, that's something as a point of pride this defense can carry forward the rest of the year.
Yeah, you don't get as many, especially with the offenses that you face today. It's really hard to put a goose egg up there from a defensive standpoint. You take a lot of pride of shutting any team out, especially one that has a lot of offensive firepower and has put up a lot of points this year. To go out there and to see them lay down and not get anything on the scoreboard is phenomenal. I mean, you don't think that it means that much, but I guarantee you, a lot of people watching that game are probably like, are they mad that they've got to put their helmets back on and go back in there at the end of the game? No, I guarantee you they were pumped to go in there to try to ensure that shutout. And that was one thing Coach Saban always talked about when the backups would come into play. Hey, you guys better be ready and you better step up, because it means a lot for those starters watching that second team go out there and perform. You better play to the same level that we've played for the entire game, and it meant a lot for the starters to get it. Don't let these guys score, because then your starters are going to be mad at you, and you're going to be they're going to let you know that it's because of you. So seeing those guys come back on the field and getting that done was pretty incredible.
Corey, not only fans wanting to see a shutout, they also want to see Alabama run the football, and we certainly saw that on Saturday with 271 combined rushing yards.
Yeah, I thought Justice Haynes and Jan Miller, this was easily one of their best performances, not just in terms of their stats, but the way that they ran the football, especially that 35-yard run that you mentioned towards the end, about 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, lowering the shoulder and delivering the big hit. It was great to see. That was like, it kind of reminded me of old school Alabama, the physicality that we played with, and that starts up front. And I also think that, Tyler Booker, Parker Brailsford, you got to give a lot of credit to those guys up front, the way that they were moving the line of scrimmage. When I was watching that game, it didn't seem like so far this season when it was obviously running plays, the goal for those guys up front is to move the line of scrimmage in a positive direction. And it seemed like we were doing that a lot on Saturday and creating some lanes for those guys to run through. But those guys are a dynamic duo in terms of their physicality, but also their vision. Both of those guys were able to find holes that were opening up for them, and they are both shifty and can run outside, can run inside. It was good to see those guys start to click a little bit and see them start to come together in terms of that running game. And we're going to have it. Last week was one where we really needed that running game at the end of the Tennessee game. We weren't able to get much going and end up losing that ball game. And this time we dominate up front, establish the run, opens up a lot of opportunities for Jalen Milroe. We don't have to rely just on his legs alone. Those are two good backs that can really carry this football team in this offense.
The offensive line did a really good job, and then it seemed like Alabama was really creative as well with the tight ends in the blocking schemes. And we saw more Denny Lewis than we've seen all season long. Just a lot of different looks by the tight ends trying to help that running game.
Yeah, when I was there, we had two Nick Walker and Travis McCall were those guys that were just like extensions of those offensive line. Both of those big guys that love to get in there and block. They weren't just pass-catching tight ends, and it seems like we're finding some of those tight ends that can go out there and hold their own. With today's tight ends being guys that like to split off the line, they don't like to be attached at the very end and get involved in that blocking game. These two guys, all of our tight ends, when they get in there, they get after it in the run game as well. And that's what you need, because you don't want to have opposing teams knowing when, hey, this tight end's in, you can expect this passing form. It's going to be pass, it's going to be run. Don't define it. Be able to play both. And they're rewarded as well in the passing game. I feel like we're getting them involved in the passing game as well. A lot of that probably has to do with the fact that they're out there giving effort in the run game. And Kendrick Law is another example, a guy that we've missed through injury throughout this season. But a lot of these runs that we're seeing happen downfield, he's engaged and he's blocking his tail off, opening up some opportunities for these running backs to get in the end zone as well. So that's a Julio Jones mantra. He was a guy that had all the intangibles. He was one of the best wide receivers to ever play, but you never saw him loafing when it was his opportunity to go downfield and block some of these DBs and just pancake some folks. So It's the mentality of a team that we're finally starting to see kind of come together of let's go deliver these blows. Let's go take the fight to the opposing team. And it starts at it's every position. It's not just the guys that are up front. It's the tight ends. It's the wide receivers. It's everybody. And it just kind of permeates throughout the entire offense when you see those guys out there given the type of effort that they're given and blocking people through the whistle.
We mentioned the next opponent for the Crimson Tide, the LSU Tigers. They took on Texas A&M this past week, and a winner you knew would be in the driver's seat of the SEC race at undefeated, and it turns out to be Texas A&M, a team that we had not talked very much about, especially after they lost week 1 against Notre Dame, and it's also the first year of Coach Elko as the head coach. You never know what to expect in a coach's first year.
Yeah, you definitely don't know what to expect, and Mike Elko, with the guy that came over from Notre Dame from offensive coordinator to head coach at Duke, and what he was able to do at Duke, and then Texas A&M wrote a pretty big check to get rid of their former coach and to bring in Mike Elko. And what he's able to do so far with this team, they're impressive. I mean, their schedule is favorable for them to really, have a pretty good shot at making the 12-team playoff. And maybe it's, I heard it said earlier today, maybe one of the best checks that's ever been written by that university is to change these coaches out. I don't know. It's this is a team that has 2 different quarterbacks, and I think if Missouri had the same situation where Brady Cook goes out and you get somebody that looks a little bit different, Pine looks a lot like Brady Cook or tries to be. He's not really a mobile quarterback, doesn't use his legs, but Texas A&M's kind of got a 2-headed monster, and you never know who's going to run out there for that team. One guy, they're both very different in terms of their playing style. It's hard to prepare for opposing teams, but yeah, who would have thought? First year under new head coach Mike Elko, after they've already lost the game early to a Notre Dame team that's they're okay, they're doing okay. They're not. I don't think they're Notre Dame's of the years we've seen in the past, but they seem to be clicking at just the right moment. They're playing good football.
I will tell the Aggies, beware Willie B. Williams-Brice Stadium at night. A South Carolina team that we saw firsthand is very good.
Yeah, this is a tough spot. I mean, you coming off the big LSU win, you had to fight in the second half to find a way to win that ball game. Now you got to go on the road to Williams-Brice. My first SEC game was at Williams-Brice, and I can tell you it is loud. It is a tough stadium to play in. And South Carolina, ignore their record. This is a good South Carolina team. We talked about it after that game. These are 2 of the best defensive ends that you've got in college football, not just in the SEC, but they've got a lot of talent over there, and they're going to be a tough test. I think they're going to be ready for it. Obviously, this is an elevated game. You got it at home. Got an opportunity to play a good Texas A&M team. You better be ready to go.
Certainly do. The other notable matchups, pretty light slate around the SEC coming up this week. Auburn will be hosting Vanderbilt. Of course, Florida, Georgia down in Jacksonville. And then also at night, Kentucky at Tennessee.
Yeah, this is, that cocktail party. Hopefully, you would think that Georgia is going to be ready to go. But that Florida team, I tell you what, so far this season, as much negative press as they were getting earlier against Billy Napier earlier this season, they've played some pretty good football here as of late. I don't know what the plan is with Napier and Florida in the future, but so far he's still there. He's coaching at this team, and they could give Georgia a run for their money. Georgia coming off, I think it was a bye week last week as well. So, get ready for November, because after this, across college football, especially in conference, we've got a lot of games, and you look across the board, there's probably 25 teams that are out there that are probably vying for these 12 spots. And it's going to be a race because there's a lot of good football games left to be played in November that are going to determine what it looks like at the end of the postseason. But this weekend, Kentucky, Tennessee. Also, it's going to be a tricky game. Kentucky coming off a loss. See how they respond when you've got one of your biggest rivals at night in Knoxville as well.
Friends, check out Game Day Done Right, because there's one thing we can really all agree on. No one wants to be the last one left at a tailgate at the end of the game, having to do all the cleanup, all the breakdown while their friends are out celebrating. If you've been in this situation before, you know the true value in what the team at Game Day Done Right provides. They handle the entire process for you, from setup to breakdown. Stellar customer service on game days to make sure your group is taken care of from start to finish. All you have to do is visit GameDayDoneRight.com, reserve your tailgate package, and let their team take it from there.